taken me this
blue
long
and orange
to get it right for one.
Yeah. I'll just be downstairs or something.
Yeah, we'll call from there. No, the blue and orange we can do pretty well. You just put a little coloured light in each corner. That'd be fine. We can do that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, well, right, that'd probably be fine, right? Probably be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, lighting talk.
Yeah.
It's good. It's got the moon, orange and blue. What's the deal? Yeah, it's going to be. Well, we started now. We had. I think we got the momentum. We're episode 241. If you're. We got to look into the camera more. Read that online. If you want a good thumbnail, you need to be smiling into the camera, so that you give off like a sense of welcoming. So if you wouldn't mind smiling into the camera more,
is that enough?
That'll be fine. Also, try not to swear as much in the first 10 minutes. I'm trying to. We got on YouTube recommended briefly a while ago.
Like this. We got recommended because we got shoved in a playlist with some.
I do think that's what it was with the pirate wife swap from Bill Burr. Yeah. I added it back in. Nothing happened. No. I think maybe we just said something really cool and we got onto the algorithm, and then it was like, oh, pirates bonus.
Fair enough.
But that was fine. So
don't swear. Don't swear in the first 10 minutes. Is that right?
I don't know, something like that. I can always edit out the swears until the 10-minute mark.
No, don't do that.
And put a little thing. To be honest, I really don't care if we don't get big. And that's the reason. They're like, oh no. But I don't know. Apparently that's a thing. Cunt. Fuck it. Can't be asked.
I was trying.
241. I tried briefly. Then it was just the more I tried,
couldn't even
the more
use
it was
in
my
context.
Head.
Cunt. There you go.
More of a banned. It's fine. We're on social media, and the social media is active. It's actually doing shit. We got like previews of each episode. We got highlights. We got surreal and questionable campaign adverts.
Yeah.
Which are like promoting the channel rather than the episodes. I think it's just stupid marketing adverts that I find funny.
Good.
And
I'm not going to complain about them at all because I'm not doing anything.
No, I think they're funny. I think they work.
Yeah.
It's always like every time I see it, I'm like, it's pretty funny. Vote Bear.
Vote Bear
because now he has a tour bus.
Yeah.
Now he has a tour bus. Unstoppable. Referential to the episodes, but if you haven't seen the episodes, you have no idea what's going on. I mean, there's even one. There's a questionable one that I've sent you that I want you to see.
Oh, right.
Because it feels
weird.
That's
what that is, yeah.
Yeah, don't watch it just yet. But Steve hasn't seen it. It's going out tomorrow. It's kind of a sensitive topic, but it's just funny to me, and it just feels like it's funny. But I showed it to someone else, and they had no idea what it was about, even though it's kind of self-contained. I think it's a good example of, if you know the show and you've seen the show or you've seen the clip, you'll get it. But if you haven't, it's just this is weird.
Not to do with the stampede, is it?
Oh yeah, the stampede. Yeah, which it's, if you haven't been following it last week. There was last week there was a stampede of ultra-Orthodox Jews, and that's the technical term for it from the article. But not many people knew that it happened. I mean, you didn't know, right? I read it and told you. It wasn't like plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
But it came across in my natural feed, and since then, Israel and Palestine have kind of escalated in the week. I don't know if you followed any of that. I don't know much about it other than lots of missiles were launched.
The trouble is, I follow. I can't
Cena?
I can't figure out what the fuck is going on over there. I don't feel at all qualified to even remotely talk about it. And I also get the feeling that the side that's being reported and commented on, as per usual, is incredibly one-sided.
Well, I'm in the same boat. I have no idea what's going on or what people are doing, but I just find it funny. I mean, hundreds of missiles, I believe, have been launched at Israel, right? And it's killed less people than a stampede of ultra-Orthodox Jews. Like, in terms of military tactics and military strategy, someone said, let's fire the missiles. Yeah. And, I think there's something about they weren't meant to be deadly. They were meant to be like a warning or whatever. But someone else could have been like, if we just send in enough ultra-Orthodox Jews, we'll do more carnage.
Yeah.
It feels... That, to me, is unquestionably hilarious.
Just go into a quiet stadium and shout, boo. And then
and just release
just wait.
the stampede.
Yeah. I assume they're frightened.
Like, it's...
Startled Orthodox Jews.
Like a giraffe being hunted by a bald-bearded man in a boxing ring or something.
Yeah.
But just the fear within the ring. No, like, making fun of that. I still think that it's hilarious that people died in an ultra-Orthodox Jew stampede, right? It's not funny that people died, but don't call it a stampede. Like, it's not. I mean, you can describe it that way, but it's just a tragedy, right? If you call it a stampede, you imagine zebras, giraffes.
Rabbis. If I think stampede, I think either The Lion King or Jumanji.
Yeah, Jumanji. It's like, it just seems like a very... It evokes so much cartoonish imagery that, I just think it's funny. So, yeah, so I made a promo video about that, and I'm still not sure whether to release it tomorrow. So if you want to give it a watch, I'll overlay it on the episode.
Oh, you want me to do that now?
And see what we do. Yeah. You can take as much time as you want. I'll just edit it together, so it's like, oh, Steve's going to watch it now. Right.
It is.
I like. It is funny. It is hilarious. It's just this. It's just. And if you don't know what's going on, then you just think this is a weird advert. So I think it's definitely an in joke. But when you know about the in joke, if someone said, "Oh, this is referencing this horrific human tragedy," you'd be like, "Why does he think that stampedes are hilarious? I mean, children got stamped to death."
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know, but I just don't think there's any situation where if you die by stampede, it's not hilarious.
No, it's chaos. Chaos is funny.
It's so surreal.
Yeah.
It's just so surreal, especially nowadays. It's like, I mean, say if you got crushed by a falling piano. You'd just be like, yes, it's a tragedy, but it's fucking hilarious. Like, it's so cartoon. It's daft.
You kind of,
But the weird thing is, right, because the way that I use like an online service to make these because it makes it a bit easier. And when finishing that promo, it kind of got corrupted, so I had to make it a second time. Then when I downloaded it, it failed to download, so I had to go through another rigmarole with that. Then when I scheduled it to be posted tomorrow, that failed, and it just feels like who like the Jewish God, I'm assuming the ultra Orthodox Jewish God is the same as the Old Testament God.
It's God, yeah,
old testy God. Like he's, I'm assuming like it seems like every step of the way that was attempted to be prevented.
Yeah,
and it feels like made me question it. And
don't do it.
It's been under siege.
Yeah,
missiles have been fired. Stop dying by stampedes. It's hilarious. Like, I'm asking people not to die by stampede. It's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's well intentioned.
For somewhat selfish reasons. Don't make me laugh at people dying.
Don't try and make me feel bad, because I'll only laugh and make the whole situation worse. But yeah, it's like, I'm sure there's a way to soften it up, and I tried loads, every different end title I could, and it's just stop dying in stampedes. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's my favourite.
News just in: Israel have trained their missiles on Stoke-on-Trent. For some reason, we're not entirely sure why.
Yeah, they just thought, fuck it, might as well. Yeah, they're funny missiles.
Yeah.
Be fine. I wouldn't mind. For the record, I wouldn't mind dying in a missile attack.
No,
I mean that sounds harsh because there are people in Israel who this week have died in a missile attack. So maybe that's the wrong way of wording it. You can kill me in a rocket attack.
Missile attacks. Not funny in a war zone. Funny in a housing estate.
Yeah, funny on a weekday as well. I don't know why. Like, it was a weekend missile attack. You'd be like, he was looking forward to the weekend.
Tuesday morning. Sitting at your desk.
He's out there with a cup of coffee and a grapefruit and a missile. So if it does make you, if it solves everything, please kill me in a missile strike.
Yeah.
Just me, no innocent people. I'm obviously the nemesis or something. I don't know. So yeah, that does feel weird. That feels like I've made it worse rather than make it better. So that's fine.
That's what we're here for.
But it'll be fun. Yeah. So yeah, you approve of that going online, right?
Oh yeah.
Just for legal. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Don't at me.
You can join me in the docs. Yeah. So social media stuff's active. It's at Pulling Teeth Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok. Like more regularly. We've played around with it before, but I'm trying to make that a regular thing. So if you're on TikTok, you said you had a bit of a TikTok. Oh yeah, and like my version of TikTok, I think is different to a lot of people's.
I've got 3 accounts, and they're all completely different.
Okay, so I'm using the one that you gave me the address to for the podcast. I've been using that one. I had a playthrough last night, and I mean, there's a lot more softcore pornography than when I last looked at it, which was a long time ago. You know, it's just like people in ridiculous...
Like on TikTok, not on that
on
account.
TikTok. No, just on TikTok in general. Of just I've been uploading some weird shit. No, just you know,
like
there's lots of stuff like. Yeah, loads of TikTok stuff is all about camel toes and yoga trousers and tits and strippers, and it's like
the thing is,
I get that this is what they're doing, but it's not what I'm looking. It's not what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I get it because it's everywhere. It just bothers me when it like something pops up and it's like it's obviously like a girl in high school, and I'm like, this is weird.
Well, it's all just so strange, and I've got
if
the same mantra.
If I'm gonna be a paedophile, I want it to be a choice. I want it to be a conscious. I've decided to be a paedophile, not like. Yeah. And don't rip that out.
Not passive.
Post it without context. But the
new stinger for the week. New stinger set up. So great.
I've decided to be a paedophile. Pulling teeth.
Now live and in prison.
But yeah, I don't want to stumble across something questionable. Like I'd like that to be a conscious effort.
Yeah. But I'm of the same belief as Christina Pajitsky, who co-hosts your Mum's House, where she started getting into TikTok, and it's just the majority of TikTok, if you take it generically, are people trying to be famous.
Yes.
Right, trying to be famous for dancing, singing, you know, what we've discussed, like being sexual or whatever. But everyone can use it. So if you go through the algorithm enough, you start to find the real interesting videos. So I was watching videos of like police body cameras first on the scene of a guy who just murdered his wife.
Ooh.
So like they're like banging on the door and he's answering it. And he's like so in trauma and shock, and he's just like he's like, what's going on in here? It's like the neighbors have heard screaming. He's like, she just wouldn't shut up. It's just yeah. And like they pull him outside. He's like, so I mean, where's your wife? I had to put her on the bed. What do you mean you had to put her on the bed? Well, you know, that's where she is now, forever. So, like, to go from dance videos to that. And then there's this one guy
Sarge,
who just
can I put this on TikTok? Because I swear it's gonna.
I really want to go viral.
I'm gonna make it big.
And it's just that avenue of TikTok I could definitely get behind. Like, that's I could definitely watch that for every day.
Within our that's on brand, I think.
Yeah, I don't know whether we could, you know, I could show these videos. I think I probably could. And
Maybe.
Then just oh yeah, everyone, this is great. The other one I like watching is I found that I thought was good was just a kid who really likes watching trains. But like his use of cinematography is amazing because he's got a GoPro on a baseball cap that's facing him. So it's like a fisheye lens of just him like, this is going to be great. And then he's got someone else filming from behind. And he's like, oh my God, that's, the serial. He'll see a train and know its serial number. And he'd be like, oh, he's going to honk. He's going to be a lovely honk, isn't he? Give him a honk. Yes! It's like, this guy. I fucking love this guy.
He knows what he likes,
I totally
man.
support this guy.
And it's one of those things where it's like there's 7 billion people in the world, and he's the only one doing this. Like, we're not the only ones doing what we do. He's the only one doing this.
He's a renegade. He's changing the world. He's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle of modern times. It's just the choice of the GoPro facing him so close. Yeah. And then he's having a great time. He's like, I'm going to put this on TikTok. It's like, mate, it's great. Keep doing it. It's awesome. There was a few others as well. There was there's like some sketch comedy as well that's quite funny, that kind of works. But yeah, the more that I filter, the further away you get from the mainstream algorithm, the more interesting shit's going to be. People on meth, people just out of their mind, just wanting to go viral on TikTok.
Yeah. I think I don't really know how to sort of delve into it, because I do just kind of get the generic stuff. I don't really know how to get deeper into it.
I think it's just liking. Yeah, I thought you used to be able to dislike stuff. Yeah. But it's just liking the specific things that you like, and then it'll slowly start to tailor it.
Filter stuff out.
And then it'll slowly get weird. Because, as soon as I liked the train spotting guy, I got more and more of him. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm on, see these crimes being fresh murderers. Oh, yeah. It's just weird day. So we're on TikTok now. Yeah, Facebook is Pulling Teeth Podcast, where giving off the news and stuff like that. All the news articles that we cover in the week, I post a lot of those up. And promotional videos, marketing, stuff like that. So Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Also, like and subscribe us on YouTube if you want to be nice. Comment, give us some hate mail, just write something horrific underneath. We'll be all game for it. That's all the stuff that has to be done. I've started being a bit less self-hating when it comes to social media stuff, as I've done it a little bit more. Like, fuck it, all the hashtags. Like, right, okay. I like all the hashtags I've used, but before I'd let's use 3, because that feels safe. And now I'm just like, fuck it, who cares? Yeah. Put 12 on.
I don't know how much difference it makes. But I guess it's like anything that can kind of help you a bit.
Well, it's just, it's just, Instagram-wise, I don't know how Instagram works. Like, if you like something, I don't think that changes anything. So it's just, if you use a hashtag, more people see your Instagram post and are more likely to follow you on Instagram. I think that's pretty much it. If
they search for that hashtag, like, I use Instagram a fair chunk. I very rarely search hashtags.
Yeah. But then, podcast as a hashtag, people use it to try and find other podcasts. They might find unorthodox stampede was the hashtag used for that one. They might search for that and find a spinning dreidel of bad humour. Well, dark humour. It's good humour. Stop dying in stampedes. It's hilarious, please. So that's the social media stuff. How are you, Steve?
I'm all right.
You all right?
Yeah, good.
It's good.
It's been. I mean, we were hanging out on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a creative chat.
Yeah. It's been good. I've started doing some, because I'd said I'd started a daily writing kind of thing, which I'm still doing. I think I'm 10 days into it now, which is good. But I've also started a refining thing of taking some of those things and turning them into scripts for sort of potential kind of YouTube videos. Only on the first one, but I'm trying to make a 10-minute thing and then edit it down a little bit and be okay, that's something that I can just go out and produce now. This is a starting point, which is something I haven't really had for quite a while. I've always known that there's stuff that I want to make or the kind of thing that I want to make, but the actual act of being like, okay, so let's start digging into that thing it's never gotten that far. Or it has with certain things. I've made like short films and bits and pieces in the past, but nothing consistently. Where I've been like, hey, here's all the stuff I've done this year, and had a ream of like 10, 20 different things. But I'm trying to kind of get on that path now. So I'm doing a writing thing every day, and then sort of amalgamating that into like an idea that runs through it and turning that into a script. And I can't really figure out like what the subject is, because it's kind of self-helpy, it's kind of autobiographical, but it's also just kind of really, in parts, really just fucking dumb, stupid humor. So like I guess I was just trying to make something that kind of reflects me and kind of like the sort of thing I want to put out into the world, because that's kind of what YouTube is, I guess. It's not that I'm bothered about being successful or whatever, but it is at its core about kind of authenticity, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think that the core message, I think, is that you found something in your first session that was like, I can move forward with that, I can take that and do more with it. The more you find things like that, the more stuff you've got that you're like, right, I've done a few different things with this. The through line, which I guess is what you're talking about, right, is I don't know what the through line's going to be. It may not have presented itself yet, but the more that you've done things, the more you'll get an idea of the common theme between them and be like, oh yeah, now I've kind of figured this out. And I think a lot of people, including ourselves, would be like, there's no point doing anything until I've figured out every single wrinkle before I've started doing anything.
It's just not.
And it's
I can empathize with that.
Human nature.
Because that's the whole kind of like perfectionism thing, which is sort of perfectionism disguised as laziness, or the other way around. And like I get it, but it's at some point you have to kind of be like, well, do you want to make something or not? So you have to start doing it. And the sort of daily writing thing is the closest to kind of like major creative productivity that I've come in like a long time. So I think
you learn by doing.
Yeah,
so you learn more about what it is you're trying to do by attempting.
But it's exactly, and it's a muscle as well. Like it's like having this daily habit of just kind of like teasing things out of your brain and sort of immortalizing them. That sounds quite grandiose, but like actually kind of putting them on a page. I mean, like that's out and that's there now. So on to the next.
Getting them a step closer to a physical form means you can see it better and play with it better.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of, if you're trying to sculpt something, you need to put the clay on the potter's wheel first and start moving the clay. You can't just be like, I know exactly what I'm going to craft. It doesn't matter what the clay is. I'm just going to craft this. You go, no, it's going to change as you work on it. So you've got to start working on it in order to evoke the change.
Yeah, and when I've thought about doing YouTube stuff in the past, like I've gotten really wrapped up in the sort of, I don't know, like the admin process of it all, as in like, well, you've got to produce X amount of videos per month and that whole side of things, as opposed to like being like, well, you haven't done anything yet, so just do something first. It doesn't matter how many and how often, as long as it's a constant process. Like we do podcasts every week because we can, and because the source material is quite easy, and because like it's pretty easy for us to riff off each other and kind of like create content in that way. But then you get someone like Dan Carlin, who's ridiculously successful, but puts a shit ton of effort into producing like 3 podcasts a year. And it's two different ends of the spectrum. So I think my habit of getting wrapped up in all of these rules again is kind of like it's putting a lot of pressure on yourself before you've even done anything, almost as a way to just for you to be like, well, so what's the point? Why bother? Now I don't have to do anything because I can't do that. Whereas it's I don't know, I feel like I'm in the process of starting something now, and plus and with our kind of conversations as well, there's going to be kind of like more stuff going on there. Like I think I'm definitely entering a good creative space. There's another thing that's kind of gone alongside that, was that I've talked before about kind of like constant consumption. of me, and
like
you had this thing of
listening
like
to stuff.
and you had this thing of like cutting video games and things recently, and and just watching less TV, and I've started I've started making a conscious effort to have more kind of silence in my life, if that makes sense. So like on walks, I haven't got headphones in, like just simple little things like that. So I'm not, if I've got like a 20 minute walk to the gym and back, I'll have it in silence. And I've found that just like having those moments throughout the day has kind of added to like my my ability to kind of tease things out of my brain. I think maybe it's similar to like meditation or something in a sense, where like you're just giving your brain a chance to mull over what it's got, as opposed to constantly feeding it something new. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there's been like a bit of a consumption cut. But other than that, a lot. Replaced all the Tupperware with glass. That was good.
Was that lovely? That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, what is Tupperware even for? I don't know.
Storing leftovers and things we used it for.
And glass is better than plastic, maybe? Could be.
Yeah,
you can't freeze glass.
You can freeze it all. You can put it straight in the oven, and it doesn't leak stuff into the food. There was I heard some woman on Rogan, and she was talking about like the rise in use of plastics and the rise in men with low testosterone and low sperm counts and things. And apparently, like it's got like a very real effect or something like that. I was just like, I'm trying to like be healthier and go to the gym more. Maybe I should have more glass in my life. So there's that.
Yeah, maybe I should treat my life like more of a vase, like a glass vase, because it's this Tupperware that's the problem. That's the issue.
Yeah. So I've got
Could
a glass
very well
water.
be, but it's funny.
Yeah, glass water bottle
enough.
for the
Now
gym
you
as
keep
well.
your-
That's good.
Oh, that sounds good. doesn't it?
It keeps things colder because it holds its temperature for longer. So that's good.
Oh yeah, and that's a big thing, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe?
so
I don't know.
really exciting week.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah,
Glass.
but for the
taking
most part,
more glass to the gym.
quite productive. And taking glass to the gym, always good.
Yeah, why not? If someone pisses you off, instant, weapon. If you want, push yourself a bit further. You mentioned briefly as well. I don't know how. Yeah, I think it's good to mark that we can start thinking about doing. We had a chat last week about being a bit more creatively productive. So trying to make a more concerted effort each week to try and write something, and with the goal of recording stuff every month, like recording whatever we've written, just trying to produce it, record it, and just do it, because it's technically what we want to do with our lives. It's just we've prevented it. We've kind of put roadblocks in front of ourselves for whatever reasons. I did have a think, because in the similar vein of trying to remove distractions that I've been doing, I was trying to justify, trying to understand why I haven't been pushing forward on a few different things. And there was a weird little pattern I noticed. If you take like social media, for example, I'm terrible at social media. I'm enjoying it at the moment because I haven't got like loads of input of war games and video games and stuff, so I've been able to withdraw from that and look for dopamine elsewhere. But when it came to like how to promote the podcast, there's two avenues you can go down of like, well, you need to post X amount each day in different places with specific hashtags. Each post needs to have a clear objective and needs to be specific, and you can think it through as much as you want, but that to me is just, all of it is just boring. So it's like, I think the main purpose is to promote the episodes. So yeah, short little clips from the episodes makes sense. News articles, I if you heard it on the podcast, you may think it's fake. This is all real news articles that we cover. Yeah. So I might as well put them out there into the world. And then it's like the promotional videos, like the spinning dreidel one. It doesn't make any sense. But it's just, there's no like social media campaign behind it. And it's literally just, I just found it funny. And it seems fun. So I'm just going to do it and put it out there. And I think that was kind of a breakthrough for me, because it was like, instead of trying to think of, if you're going to do this, you have to do these 10 other things. Yeah. It's all this I should do this mentality. And then it becomes an easy excuse to not do it. And it also kind of feels like you're not, if it's to do what you want to do, then you kind of feel like you're putting these roadblocks in front of yourself to stop you from doing what you want to do. So it's kind of like, you only deserve to do what you want to do if you're doing all of these things. Like, you're putting them all in a row. So if you're going to get your life together, say you're in a bad place and you want to rebuild, the answer is just start doing what you want to do most in your life. And if you start if you start embodying the life that you want to have, the pieces will come together. Whereas some people will say, well, you need to run for an hour every morning, and you need to eat 5 apples every 3 fortnights, and then you have to do however complicated people make it. And the more complicated you make it, the more it may make sense when you write it down on paper, but mentally you need to have a direction. The direction is the primary thing, and that's step 1, is just moving in the direction you want to, and then all those other things will fall into place. Like, I didn't want to use Twitter, because it's like, oh, it's another step. But once I was making stuff that I thought was funny and I was having fun making, it was like, yeah, I'll put this on Twitter, why not? Yeah. Your whole perspective changes if you're doing what it is you want to do. So step 1 is just do what you want to do. So yeah, we're going to start trying to have a recording day each month or something like that, where we sit down and just record ideas that we've written and then check up on each other each week to see what we've written. No idea what for, no idea what the end product's going to be, but step 1, we want to write, we want to make stuff, we want to record stuff and edit things and make funny videos and make informative videos and make whatever, but we know that's the direction we want to go in. Let's just start going in that direction, see where we end up. It's good. It's a good little weird mental switch for me. It's good. But yeah, so we're going to start doing a bit more of that as well. So that should be fun. So yeah, glass bottles in the gym. Israel's been bombarded, and then some other stuff. That's all been good. Some of the new stuff. Some of the new stuff this week. There is quite a lot of new stuff. A woman has been accused of setting her home on fire and watching it burn from her lawn chair while someone was still inside. So just a domestic argument. A woman decided to set the house on fire and just leave. And watch it, and turn around, pop open a lawn chair, pop, and watch it burn to the ground. So it's, love. A Maryland woman was charged with attempted murder, arson, and assault. That's quite a lot.
Attempted.
It's not just...
So I take it the person inside didn't die then?
No, they did survive. Neighbours came out and rescued the person trapped in the basement. Yeah. While she just sat there reading a book. After witnesses said they saw her set a house on fire while a person was trapped in its basement. The fire marshal said witnesses observed Gail J. Metwally, 47, setting multiple fires within her home, then watching the home burn while she sat in a chair on her lawn. So just like,
that'd be satisfying, wouldn't it? If you've come to terms with, like, fuck this guy, I'm killing this guy, and I don't care if I go down, like, it's worth it. The whole thing is worth it. You'd make that experience as enjoyable and just fulfilling as possible.
Well, just the reaction, right? I mean, you're having a normal... It depends on what the argument is. If you're like, what's the name of that actor from American Beauty? Kevin Smith. No, it's not Kevin Smith. Is it Kevin Spacey? Yeah. It's Kevin Smith. No, it's Kevin Smith. End of story. All right. Okay. Have fun in the basement. I'll be right back. Just start setting fire to the house. Step outside, sit on the chairs. Like, it was Kevin Spacey. He didn't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
But go fuck him.
No,
I had an argument with someone about that years and years ago on a walk, and I was like, Kevin Smith was not in American Beauty. I'm not a massive Kevin Smith fan, but I know that it was Kevin Spacey we're talking about. No, Kevin Smith. Okay, fine. Wish I'd burnt my house down. The fire marshal said bystanders helped a person trapped in the home and confirmed that 4 people actually lived there, including the arsonist. But the other 2 were not in the house at the time. So it was like a house share or something, or a family home. Just fuck it, set fire to it. I'm pretty sure it also said Met Wally appears in multiple clips on Snapchat to be sitting on a lawn chair reading a book. Just as the fire is, and a house fire is pretty big.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like we had some big fires, and like it's difficult to get close to them.
Yeah,
like, and we didn't
house.
burn anything. Yeah, we didn't burn a house. Like that's hot.
No.
Not to state the obvious.
Reading a Tintin book or something. Oh, it's good.
Are you allowed to set your own house on fire? Assuming
Not with someone knowingly trapped in the basement. Yeah. No, I don't think so, because it's
no
like
one
connected
inside.
to gas lines.
Yeah, no one inside. Let's say you've taken all the safety precautions before starting a house fire. You've disconnected the gas and all of the stuff that could potentially go wrong. So you're just having a very big fire. Are you allowed to burn down your own house?
I think you probably have to let the fire brigade know. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, look, I'm doing this, and they'll come round and check and be like, okay, if you want to, go ahead.
We'll
but they
burn
have to
your
know
house
in advance.
down.
Yeah, well, because then, you don't want someone to call the fire brigade for a fire that you don't want to be put out.
No.
You'll waste their time, won't it? So you need to let them know so they won't come to your rescue.
Yeah.
And, for them to be responsible about it. They bring, a realty advisor as well. It's like, this house is worth, it's increased in value by 12%. They're like,
yeah, I
still want to burn it to the ground. I've just had a really bad year, and this would just make it all better.
It'd be great.
Yeah. Speaking of social media earlier on, I checked out some of your, because I haven't done any social media for a very long time, but I checked out some of your social media stuff. Some of it was pretty good. I could have liked it in the past, 15-second.
Oh, the 15-second film school stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It's very Steve, pretty good.
Yeah.
Would you count yourself as an influencer?
No.
No.
Who the fuck have I influenced?
I don't know.
Might have
people for
influenced
15
someone
seconds.
to kill themselves at some point.
15 seconds? Oh, that's too much. That's it. I'm ending my life.
You have to be influential if you're an influencer.
Need to have people who give a shit, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm giving you a retrospective retweet.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If I'd seen it at the time, I mean, I've blocked you on most social medias because of, I think, ever since your wedding, all your Facebook posts were always like, we've gone to a brewery and we're having a lovely time. And I was just like, you don't want me commenting on this. Because all it would be me saying something horrible because I think that would be funny. And it's like, you just want to enjoy your marriage.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll just take a step back for everyone's benefit.
Always like to post about Twixes. Great.
Yeah. I mean, there was I did a Steve. I commented on a news article as the podcast as a social media attempt.
All right.
There's I think there was a case of a plane was going to take off, and just before it took off, the door fell off, and all the luggage got sucked out of it, and it was like, oh my god, this is terrible. And in the article, someone said, oh, if there was a woman, with a baby on her lap, I don't know what would have happened. It was like, well, that baby. I mean, it was traveling at 100 miles an hour. The plane. It was like that baby would have been a flying baby for a little bit. What did you think was going to happen? It's sucking all of the luggage out of the plane. You think a baby's not luggage? That baby's gone, love. And it was weird. I've never commented on a Facebook article before. It was quite weird, but yeah, so there's influencers out there in the world. An article about one of them, a married influencer couple. Oh, isn't love so special that you need to brand it and market it for other people's approval? They're facing criticism, this influencer couple, for euthanizing their dog. Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I don't think an influencer couple is like, or an influencer's like, hey, like us on YouTube, we killed our dog. Hey, anyway, have you seen, Zip Recruiter? They didn't live stream it, but they did what influencers do, where they vlog everything. So it's like, hey, we're euthanizing the dog today. And people are just like, this is horrific. Why are you doing this?
And they're doing it for good reasons.
Well, this is the grey area. So the dog, I think they've got a child.
The dog is anti-Semitic.
The dog caused a stampede. The dog bit their child, right?
Yeah.
So they were like, this dog's aggressive, and I never want to be in that position, but I can understand logically, if you've got a child and a dog, and the dog hurts the child, you need to set up boundaries and be like, this dog, I can't trust this dog ever again in the same room as my child until my child grows older.
Yeah.
There's something, but don't euthanize it. Oh, that's it. It's time to die.
Yeah, it's to probably take it to a shelter.
Yeah, just, especially because the dog was a key part in most, and as is the same in most Instagram influencers, their dog is like one of the big pulls.
Yeah.
They use the dog a lot in a lot of their social media. So don't just kill. Don't euthanize, sorry to be the corrector. Don't euthanize a third of your producing staff.
Yeah.
Just, that's it. Time to die.
Oh.
Fans of Nikki and Dan have expressed anger after they posted a video outlining their rationale for putting down their dog. Let's make it a whole video.
Oh.
I've seen influencer couples have an influencer breakup special.
Yeah.
Where they vlog their breakup, or they get photographers to take photos of them reenacting their breakup so that it fits their style of posting. Stupid shit like that. I can't understand, and I can understand people saying hi, I know you all know us as a couple, but we've decided to break up. I've seen some of those. But you're probably wondering where Bowser is. He's in the ground. We killed him. Who thought that was a good idea? Don't do that. Just don't do it in the first place, let alone try and monetize it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing it's drawing that line, isn't it? Because some people, some influencers, vloggers, whatever, like to kind of be like, we bear all here. We talk about the bad and the good, and my dog's dead. But no, more than that, they killed it. Yeah,
they've gotten a receipt for their dead dog. They paid somebody to come round and kill it.
Yeah,
just don't do that. If the vet was like, look, there's no shelters around, there's nothing anybody can do.
Yeah,
the only choice is to euthanize the dog. Then you can have that discussion, and that can be a thing, because then that's understandable. Not just we've decided to euthanize the dog because we can't be asked to give it to a shelter.
Yeah,
it's either us or nothing.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Bowser. It's so brutal.
It's rough.
In most cases, people choose to euthanize their pets following a terminal illness. However, the couple opted to put Bowser down after the dog displayed his aggressive side. That's it. Die.
Did he display aggression, or did he bite a kid?
Well, you would assume it was a bite, as in it wasn't like a playful nip or anything like that.
Yeah.
If it was a
but it wasn't
it got defensive.
He wasn't just growling at the kid.
Yeah, it said that they bit. Yeah, there was a bite, I believe. Okay. Yeah, after he bit their son.
Right.
So there was a bite involved. And again, I totally understand the rationale of it's not safe for my child, and the child has to take precedent. It's a horrible position to be in, but I can understand it. It's just vlogging the euthanizing of your dog sounds a bit weird.
Yeah.
They decided it was time for Bowser to pass peacefully on, and people were like, I would have looked after the dog. You didn't have to kill it. The couple did say the day that they put them down was the worst day, but it was amazing because everything comes to an end.
Yeah, that's...
Don't phrase it like that.
That's the thing. Right. Sorry. You're influencers or whatever. You've got this whole channel. Reach out to your audience. Be like, hey, we can't keep the dog anymore. Would anybody like a celebrity dog?
Well, yeah, or just to look after it until our kids grown up more.
Yeah.
Or, there's things you can do.
Yeah.
And then when you do kill your dog, don't quote it as the worst day, but also amazing.
Why
was
it?
It's not amazing to kill your dog.
No. Oh.
Yeah, amazing because everything comes to an end. Again, I get what you were trying to say, cycle of life.
Oh, shut up. It's not the cycle of life. You put it down. The cycle of life is if it died or if it was killed for food. But, not...
Yeah. You just decided to kill your dog because you couldn't be arsed.
Yeah, we exterminated our family pet. The cycle of life.
It's like saying Ghostbusters is the cycle of life. You're like, well, there's elements, life, death, but... Mr. Stay Puft? What are you talking about?
Yeah, this isn't amazing.
Amazing. This is fucking amazing, mate. Killed my dog was amazing. So yeah, influencers, they're a weird breed and should be put down, I guess. In other news, a 39-year-old woman who was eaten alive by a bear in Colorado has been identified by her partner. That's good.
Right.
It's good news. So, I mean, I don't know how much you'd want to identify your partner from bears, like the insides of bears. Oh, it's her watch. Feels weird. Again, another just, it's amazing because everything comes to an end. The autopsy revealed she died of... What do you think she died of, Steve? What's the medical term? What's the autopsy term?
Bear.
Fucking bear. No, she died of penetrating injuries to the neck.
She got eaten
sounds extreme.
By a bear.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming she wasn't entirely eaten. They did find human remains in the digestive system of the bear and the bear's family.
Christ.
But I don't think even a bear would eat all of somebody. Well, if that was the case, I don't think she would have died from a neck injury. I think she would have died from being torn to pieces by bears.
Yeah.
But fair enough. Keep it light. While Lainey's physical presence was suddenly taken from the earth, all that knew and loved her can take comfort. Lainey's soul will forever be in her favourite place. Bears.
I'm sure she didn't feel that way.
What the fuck does that mean? I mean, I guess he's trying to say, the park that they were in was her favourite place.
Yeah.
Not that she was within 3 to 4 bears' digestive tracts.
Yeah. And bears are fucked
Lainey's soul will live forever in her favourite place. Doing her favourite thing. Getting ripped to pieces.
Ripped to pieces by bears. You don't... if you're going to be killed by something, you want it to be something, massive that'll just trample you like an elephant. Quick. Pretty quick. Or a lion or something that'll choke you out. Just grab you around the neck and just wing you about. But a bear just pins you down and starts biting chunks out of you.
Yeah.
They're not arsed. They're not bothered about killing you or anything. They just want to eat. I remember this story a while back. It was a couple of years ago, about this woman that got pinned down and started. And this bear had started eating her with its cubs and whatever, and she couldn't do anything. And while she was being eaten alive, she was on the phone to her mum, so her mum was hearing. It's horrific. Bears people are like, oh, it's a teddy bear. No, it's a bear. It's a bear, and it's gonna fucking kill you. And
it won't let you hang up, so it's going to fuck up your phone bill.
Yeah. Oh, but at least you love the park. At least you love the woods.
Love that park.
Yeah.
Loved being there.
Yeah. I mean, surrounded by bears and salmon guts and there's a river though. There's a river, nice running water.
Oh,
sound of running water while you've
upstream.
Has it got a bear chewing on your femur?
I don't watch many TED Talks. I watched a little bit of one, and it was of a paramedic, and he was talking about how he always believed if he turned up on the scene of someone who was definitely going to die, like it was just a matter of time, that you were not meant to tell them. You're like, you're going to be fine. And you know, that was what he believed you were supposed to do, is to keep hope alive, even if you knew they're dead. And what he started doing was just telling people, is like, no, look, you're going to die. It's going to be soon. And he said, like, the first time he did it, he was surprised at people's reactions. Like, people were very accepting of it. They was like, yeah, I thought so. Okay. And then, like, you know, it gives them, they're mentally prepared for it. They're like, okay, no, this makes sense. All right, you know, I don't have to fight it. There's nothing I can do. There's a weird relief that comes from that. I think when you get attacked by a bear, you know you're going to die. But I can't imagine that level of calm and serenity. Like, even in that moment where you're like, you're admiring the nature's beauty and the cycle of life and how, what was it? Amazing, because everything comes to an end. All that stuff. But you can't do that while you're being ripped to pieces by bears. So I don't think it was her favourite thing to do.
Yeah.
And just seems like one of the worst ways to go. This is her partner who said this. He goes on to say, she wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
What?
She wouldn't have wanted it any other way. While this tragedy has shaken me and our family to the core, our burden is eased as we consider the facts. This guy.
What?
What are you talking about? Your wife? Was it your wife? Or no, it was a partner, so it could have been, you know, long-term, it could have been a short-term relationship.
I can think of a couple of ways she might have wanted it more. Like,
not torn to pieces by bears?
Yeah, maybe
you know,
dying of starvation, maybe drowning, maybe just being hit by a car. But like
a stroke, you know, and then you get eaten by bears. That would be preferred, right?
Yeah.
You're still feeding the bears, you believe in feeding the bears, but you're not experiencing the terror, right?
Right, yeah.
She might have wanted it another way. What are you trying to say? Stop trying to say... I think this guy might be an Instagram influencer. He's trying to say something that's going to go far. Trying to say something really poetic, like it's amazing when I euthanized my dog. It's amazing when I set those bears loose on my partner. Previously, wildlife investigators reported detecting bear dander and feces at the scene. Oh, they shat straight away, along with hints of the body being eaten. Hints, like tips. Oh. Little arrow pointing towards a load of bears, causing them to suspect a bear attack. It's just... So maybe... No, yeah, so it's a horrific scene is what I'm assuming. Specialist wildlife dogs found a 10-year-old bear with 2 cubs, and the three were put down, according to the statement.
Yeah.
So they found these bears that killed this woman, and they killed the bears.
Yeah, well...
Another grey area.
I think in a lot of places in the States, bears are openly hunted anyway, just because there's too many of them and they're detrimental to the other wildlife in the area. So, and it's reasonable to think that if you find one that's killed a person, then their territory is probably in an area where you don't want it, where it's likely to come across more people. It's if you're gonna kill bears anyway, it's probably best to kill those ones.
Yeah, I mean, you get they're like tags or something to hunt animals.
Yeah.
You need a tag to hunt a specific... It's weird to get a vengeance tag or like revenge for humanity.
Yeah.
Well, not revenge, because it's what she wanted. It's what she would have wanted. She wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
It's exactly what she wanted.
That's why she went out. That's why it happened.
It's like kids' Christmas lists.
Maybe
they always ask
ones.
for like a horse or something. She wanted to get eaten by bears.
Yeah. It's like, all right, seems odd, but fair enough. In other news, an unemployed Spanish waiter has been convicted of murdering his mother, who he cut into thousands of pieces, stored them in lunchboxes, I don't know whether they were plastic or glass Tupperware, and fed parts to his dog. When he was... This is a TikTok I'd like. When he was arrested in February 2019, Sanchez told police he'd been eating his mum bit by bit with his pet dog. His quote is, "Yes, myself and my dog have been eating her bit by bit."
Christ.
Just like, he's embracing himself. You know, he's not ashamed. Shouldn't be ashamed of whatever, like, not sexuality, but your hobbies. I don't know. He's very open about it. Police found Mrs. Soledad's remains in Tupperware containers. Now, obviously we know if it was plastic, then he would have had lowered testosterone, right? That's what we've reported.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just hope that his testosterone's intact and he was using glass. In their fridge and bones in drawers around the family home. Oh, I'll put this bone in there. This bone's going in the living room. Although her head, hands and heart were left in her bed. Oh, that's nice.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, have a head, have a heart, have your hands.
What she would have wanted.
Yeah, Spanish media reports said her body had indeed been cut up into more than 1,000 pieces. Guy had a weird relationship with his mother, it seems.
Yeah.
It just seems like 1,000 pieces is a lot.
I mean,
Like
once
too
you've
many.
kind of cut them up, can they determine whether you murdered them? Would you be done for murder naturally, or would they just do you for like decimation of a corpse?
Yeah, he was definitely being done for that, obviously. But yeah, I guess...
Because you can't prove murder at that point. You're going to find a knife wound?
Like, whoa. Fair cop, I'm eating my mum and feeding her to my dog. But you can't prove that I was aggressive towards her in any way.
You can't prove that I murdered her. Maybe I'm just a cannibal.
We got on really well. She loved the dog. She bit my dog, so she had to be euthanized.
It's what she would have wanted.
I posted it on Instagram. He's a waiter as well. I don't know why that was important. Maybe he continued to work. Got to go for the night shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fair enough. He ate his mum cut into 1,000 pieces. It just feels like a lot of effort. It just feels like too much effort. Cut her into 100 pieces. That feels more reasonable, right?
Yeah.
1,000? I don't know. Some people, they've got OCD. Nah, it's got to be 1,000 perfectly shaped pieces. In other news, an armed military trainee accused of hijacking a school bus let the children off after they frustrated him by asking him too many questions. Are we there yet? Shut up. Are we there yet? Oh, for God's sake. Everyone's been in that position. John Colazzo, 23, a trainee at Fort Jackson in South Carolina, got on the bus at an interstate highway on Thursday before demanding the driver divert to a nearby town. He told the bus driver that he didn't want to hurt him, but you've got to drive to a town. But to drive to a town with the children on board. So he was just like, I'm just... You know, an aggressive Uber, right? He's just got onto a bus and said, take me here. Stop everything you're doing. Mr. Colazzo ordered all 18 children to the front of the bus. I guess to control the situation, right? He's hijacked the bus. He knows he's hijacked it. Keep everyone in one spot. So he's got all the children to the front of the bus so he can keep an eye on them. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But the situation became frustrating for the alleged hijacker when they overburdened him with questions. The kids were asking questions like, are you going to hurt us? Are you a soldier? Are you a bus driver?
Valid questions.
He's just... Maybe he could just be a bus driver who's lost his bus.
Yeah.
If I was a bus driver and I lost my bus, I'd look for a bus. Kids are just like, oh, mate, it's a valid question, right? It makes sense, right? Could be a soldier. I mean, he's dressed like a soldier. He's armed. Could be a soldier. Is it going to hurt us? Yeah, I think so. And he said, the sheriff said they were just kids being kids, asking these kind of questions.
Yeah.
And I think that added to the frustration that he had. He didn't like kids. Hijacked a school bus. We did. After 6 minutes of putting up with these kids. Wasn't like an hour, wasn't like a day. 6 minutes of
the actual bus driver.
Can you shut up, please? Trying to hijack
the actual bus driver is just like
nephew?
A saint. Like, sick.
No patience. The military trainee let the driver and children off the bus before driving a short distance along the interstate before stopping and abandoning the vehicle. So, like, it ruined his whole momentum for the day. He had, like, all these plans. Oh, I'm going to hijack that bus. I'm going to go see Cirque du Soleil.
Maybe hit a drive-through.
Go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, those kids are just really bummed me out. So, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. I'm going home. So yeah, it's, if you're going to hijack a school bus, have more patience with children. All right, on to some more news. Similar news to being, if what you want is to get eaten by bears, a hiker in Missouri was seriously injured after being shot by a hunter who mistook him for a turkey.
Yeah, I've got that one.
Is that a turkey? No. Bang! Now, so yeah, you know what you've read this, but the thing that I found really funny about this, so it's literally just a guy. They don't say whether or not he was wearing bright colours. They said that most hikers wear bright colours because turkeys don't wear bright colours, but they didn't necessarily say he wasn't wearing bright colours. Yeah. But, you know, I'm imagining from a distance you could see something move, and it's through trees and stuff, so you fire. I can get that. It kind of makes sense. But what I like about this is that it was turkey hunting season, right?
Yeah.
And it was ending that day, and it was ending in half an hour. So the guy was like, I can only hunt turkey for another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm shooting whatever I can find. Like last minute, he didn't know about the deadline. He's got there. He's like, fuck, I've got half an hour to shoot all the turkeys I wanted to shoot. And it's just seeing somebody and just like, he's so focused on getting a turkey that everyone looks like a turkey. Bang!
Yeah. The thing I don't get is that compared to turkeys, people are quite tall. So like, if you mistake it for a turkey, you're either over the moon at the size of this turkey that you found, or you shoot, or all you saw was its legs, and you just shot a guy in the legs. In which case, it wouldn't be fatal if you shoot a guy in a calf or something. But like, I don't understand how you see a person-sized thing. Never mind a person-shaped thing, but just a person-sized thing.
Yeah.
Think turkey.
Well, it could be through, you know, foliage and stuff, and kind of see that. But I swear, turkeys are quite loud. Like, they're not, like, silently walking around. I've never met a turkey, but I feel like they're like chickens. They're always kind of making a little bit of noise. And I feel like that noise is probably different to somebody listening to Rammstein on their headphones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like you'd hear it and you'd be like, he's listening to Mine Tile. That's a weird choice for a turkey. Bang! You know, it feels like you'd have more caution.
Yeah.
But yeah, these things happen. The Missouri Department of Conservation was managing a turkey hunt at the time of the shooting, and yeah, it was ongoing until 1 p.m. and he got shot at 12:30 p.m. Just like a race against the clock. Quick,
eliminate all turkeys. Yeah.
Yeah. Short but sweet, and yeah, maybe it's what you would have wanted. Who knows? In other news, have you ever been part of hazing culture? Like, we had it at uni for like sports teams and stuff. Where it's like, if you want to be on the rugby team, you had to eat dog food.
Oh no! If there was ever anything like that, I'd just be like, "Nah, I'm all right. I'd just leave."
Yeah,
I never wanted to be a part of something so much that I would go through that stuff.
And it's not even that I would have a problem with doing that. I mean, I don't want to eat dog food, but like, as part of the ridiculousness of an initiation ceremony, it just feels weird that it's mandatory. You're like, oh, you can only be friends with people who've eaten dog food. Yeah. You know, it's a weird compulsory thing. I've never really understood it.
At uni, they're always really, really boring. I'd be up for like doing something interesting. Like if you're doing like, I don't know, pranks or weird like rites of passage that actually took kind of like a bit of grit and endurance or something. But most of the ones at uni was all like, how much of this can you drink without vomiting? And how pissed can you get without falling over? And they'd put like a bin in the middle of a circle of people and just like wait until people started vomiting. And it's just, I mean, this isn't this doesn't feel like a very kind of like rite of passage, grown up kind of here and here is the birth of man kind of ceremony. This just seems like a bunch of people getting completely shit faced and calling it like a grandiose event.
I can understand the bonding element of what initiation would be, whether it's like, if you work somewhere. Yeah, but if say you work, if you worked in a stressful industry and somebody new comes along, you may not be able to, connect with that person until that person has been through the stress of the job that you're doing, and you'd be like, oh, now you understand, we can have a chat, and it's like not like wide-eyed and innocent, but just, I'm friends with them because they vomited into the bin. Okay. Fair enough. Well, the French have got a different attitude towards it, as I found this week. A French pilot has filed a legal complaint after being subjected to a hazing ritual in which he was tied to a target and fired at by fighter jets. Now, I thought this... Now, my immediate reaction was these planes were in the air, just firing whereabouts he was. But in logical thinking, I think he was just tied to something and there was a plane landed and they just fired. Like the guns were already trained on something,
right,
either side of him or something, and this
fucking hell.
The young man had just been posted to an airbase in the south of the island of Corsica in March 2019 when he was grabbed by colleagues, tied up with adhesive tape, and a bag was put over his head. The recruit in his 30s was then transported to a live fire target range, tied to a target, and then heard fighter jets open fire and drop munitions around him for 20 minutes. Like, I don't know what the term drop munitions specifically means. It could just be bullets are being fired at him, but it could also mean that projectiles are being hurled at him as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's suing them.
Well, yeah.
I'm taking you to court. Well, like, we can agree on that's fucked up. And, like, you'd be like, you guys, I don't like you guys anymore. Because it's weird to take him to court.
Well, I mean...
And, like, present it in court. What happens? They fired fighter jets at me for 20 minutes. No, really, like, but what did they really do? It's like, no, they fired... they fired at me. Fuck, that was really mean of them. I didn't like it at all. It's not a good way to make friends. Walking away from the live fire range. Wasn't funny, guys.
Yeah. But you didn't even risk assess it.
Yeah. People in planes firing shit at him. Oh, it's so good. It's so surreal. But I think that's the key here, is if it's surreal, it's the more surreal it is, the more it should never happen in real life.
Yeah.
The fact that it does is so great.
I get why he'd sue, though. I understand, like, you could get PTSD from that.
I mean, shell shock is literally rounds landing near you and you being traumatized for life.
Yeah.
Video and pictures of the hooded and motionless victim. Now, he's alive. He was alive, but I don't know whether he's just paralyzed by, like, I don't know. I think he's tied to a target, so I'm assuming he's stood up. So he's just staying very still because he's very aware that minigun fire is going on all around. So he's just staying as still as he could. Or if he passed out and was just, because I could understand that, and then just lying on the floor, I don't know. In which the perpetrators are clearly visible. Yeah, they're in a plane and that plane is shooting. Pretty obvious that they're there. Has been handed over to prosecutors. Bit different from vomiting in a bin.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's fire an F-20 at him. Whatever that is. Sorry, it was delicious. I really liked hearing about that. Another kind of surreal Air Force news. A high-tech missile system that cost more than £600,000 was destroyed after plunging from a Typhoon jet during a test. Now, what that means is it fell off. I didn't know fighter jets were, like, held together with duct tape.
Yeah.
Oh, that missile system's a bit loose. Should we fix it? Nah. You're fine. See this flying here, kunk. What was that? Oh, it's the missile system. Oh,
What, the whole thing?
Devon.
Yeah.
The whole missile system. With what, missiles and all? Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the whole system.
No,
it wouldn't like just part of it.
Did we reload after we shot them at Dave? No. All right, no missiles. No missiles. It's all right.
Yeah. Try and drop it near that live fire hazing guy. Drop it on the new guy. Missile system. When engineers ran a test from a motionless £110 million Typhoon jet plane, the fighter's missiles guiding unit dropped off the bottom of the plane. Oh, so they say it's motionless. So I guess that means it's on the runway, so it's not in the air. I thought it was in the air.
All right.
But it fell off on the floor and was damaged beyond repair. Oh, the missile system's ruined. Just bits of the plane are falling off. That's what tests are for, right?
Yeah.
But still.
I mean, better that it happened there.
Sure, than over some kind of neutral diplomatic country.
Oh, no.
But it must have been, welded to the plane or screwed in or
bolted
like,
or
something. But this article was about, the amount of financial waste that the RAF had because they had to claim it off their, in their budget. Well, that missile system fell off. That's 600 grand we won't get back. All right, fair enough. Just all seems weird. And lastly from me, a Colorado gunman killed 6 at a party because he wasn't invited.
I mean,
I get that. I can get that. Have you ever? There's been like parties where you haven't invited somebody, but they found out about it and they turn up anyway, and it's awkward.
yeah.
At least this guy had the decency to end the party quickly.
Yeah.
He shot everybody. He's like, oh, the party's over now. No more awkwardness.
Yeah. Everything's back to normal. See you next time.
Colorado.
See you for games night.
We still on for poker next week?
Yeah.
No. Colorado officials say the gunman who killed 6 people at a birthday party at the weekend was upset that he had not been invited. Police say Teodoro Macias, 28, fatally shot his girlfriend. Right, there's a few things to that, right? 1, why you shoot your girlfriend? 2, if your girlfriend hasn't invited you to a birthday party she's going to,
Yeah.
I don't think shooting is going to save your relationship. Sandra Ibarra Perez, 28, and 5 relatives before turning the gun on himself. Oh, so he shot himself as well. Fair enough.
Was he one of the 6 or was it 6 plus 1?
He shot his girlfriend and 5 relatives before turning the gun on himself. So he shot 6 other people, then shot himself.
Why didn't you invite me? Just gestures at all the bodies.
I'm the life of the party! The attack unfolded at the Canterbury Mobile Home Park in Colorado Springs. The party was for 3 relatives, 2 of whom died. Was for 3 relatives, and it was a birthday party, so it was like a combined birthday party.
Yeah.
There can be only
So
one.
it's not just killing like friends of friends, it's killing your relatives.
Yeah, well, potentially, yeah. Like, it was a party filled with relatives. I don't know whether they were his relatives or maybe his girlfriend's relatives. I don't know. Either way, it's probably what was it? Amazing that everything ends. Whatever the Instagram
circle of
influencer
life.
said. Yeah. But yeah, that's me for news bits this week.
Oh. All right then. Okay, that was the turkey shooting. Vladimir Putin reassured the Russian people this week that their COVID-19 vaccine, Sputnik 5, is as simple and reliable as an AK-47.
We've named it after a satellite.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to administer it. You're just going to lay out in the sun and be fired at from an AK-47 suspended in space.
In addition to defending the effectiveness of the product, Putin also revealed on Thursday that Russia is producing a new vaccine against COVID-19 called Sputnik Light, which requires the application of only one dose. It's like, well, there's regular Coke, and then there's Diet Coke, and then there's Coke Zero, and Sputnik.
Oh, yeah.
Diet Sputnik.
Vaccination light. Who wants vaccination light?
Vaccination light was proven to be 79% effective compared to like the 94% or whatever that Sputnik 5 is. It's like, well, so why bother?
For those who just can't really be asked.
Yeah.
That extra 10%, 20%.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. But they called everything Sputnik. I think
I just love it.
I mean, it's Sputnik 5 is the name of a vaccination, and all the things they call Sputnik aren't in any way related. Sputnik 1 was a satellite.
2 was just a kitchen Home Depot.
Yeah.
If you want to get
Sputnik
fitted
3
kitchens, go to Sputnik 2.
Sputnik 3 was a dog. And then, like...
Yes.
Yeah. All the way down to a vaccination.
Marketing.
Yeah.
The marketing team. Well, you need to come up with a new term. Putin really likes Sputnik. Sputnik it is.
Sputnik again. The return of Sputnik.
Yeah,
the revenge of Sputnik. Yeah.
Sputnik
Sputnik 5. As reliable as an AK-47. It's a very Putin thing to say.
Well, I reckon they must be really proud of it. I mean, what's like, I guess in England we've got tea, right? Tea's probably the equivalent national thing of like, as good as a good cup of tea.
Yeah.
You probably get a lot of people going like, yeah. But like, I mean, Russians just are probably very big fans of their I think it's meant to be one of the best designed guns in the world.
Like ever. Like there's a state in Africa, I can't remember which one, that's got it on its flag. Like, just because it was it was so it was so integral to like the revolution that happened there. Like, well, just put a gun on the flag. There you go. Yeah, so
call it Sputnik.
One of the most successful weapons of ever.
Yeah,
ever.
It makes sense that they might have national pride specifically about that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
It's weird because it's a vaccination. It's meant to stop you from dying, whereas an AK-47 means more to kill someone.
Yeah, killing.
It'll kill you, but in the other way, where it keeps you alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I mean, there's like feats. It's a feat of engineering, essentially. It just happens that it's a gun. Like as I think there's a lot of British people that are proud that we make like Spitfires and like the Rolls-Royce engine and like all of that stuff. I don't know anything about our ventures into artillery.
Well, I guess it's not that different from saying it's like, as reliable as a Spitfire, because like Spitfires killed people, right?
Yeah.
So like, and they're kind of national big icon.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same for Russia. Still weird for medicinal purposes, but there you go.
Yeah. In other news, the now defunct Greenville Christian College in Ontario has stated that its staff should not be held accountable for abusing the pupils because they had no way of knowing it would cause emotional damage.
It was just abuse. We were just abusing them. We didn't know they'd feel abused. We tied them to some firing dummies and launched some Spitfires at them. What's the problem?
What of it? What?
Yeah.
In February 2020, a judge presiding over a class action lawsuit on behalf of former students found that staff at Greenville Christian College responsible for systematically abusing boys and girls who attended the boarding school in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. That abuse included repeated references to girls in their care as sluts, whores, Jezebels, and bitches in heat. And saying that rape is the result of girls and boys being too tempting to men.
Well, that doesn't sound like what I would classify as abuse. It's disgusting.
Well,
but like, if it's just language about being referred to them, like it's definitely wrong. But is it abuse?
Well, they do carry on.
don't make any remarks on it. Don't do a spinning dreidel just yet. Like, it gets worse.
At the trial in Ontario Superior Court of Justice, former students testified that they were routinely publicly shamed in what the school called light sessions. Fellow students and staff would scream at them and call them names, sometimes for hours.
Pretty light, isn't it? Sounds light.
Yeah.
Light like a vaccination that's like it's 20% less than the full gear.
For transgressions such as smoking or being caught alone with a member of the opposite sex. Some say they also experienced beatings with a paddle hard enough to make them bleed. Others were told that their parents were evil and said that they...
Your parents are evil. What does this have to do with me smoking? Your parents are evil. Oh, the shame.
And they and also endured exorcisms.
Is this still in the light,
light
area
side
of things?
The light side of abuse. Girls were chastised for behaving like prostitutes and being too tempting for men, while boys suspected of being gay were called faggots and told they'd be damned to hell. So
told. It's like in part. You know you're going to be damned to hell, right?
Yeah.
Feels like they probably weren't passively said like that. It was probably screamed at them in the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Told. They were just informed that they're going to be damned to hell. They were given a flyer.
Yeah.
Stop
and
doing
there's a whole
eternal damnation
thing about like girls having to kind of like bend over and like show that their bathing suits weren't too revealing or something like in front of the teachers. The whole thing is just an awful shit show. But I would say it's probably tantamount to abuse.
I think put all together, you can be in an abusive environment for sure.
Yeah.
So you've definitely experienced abuse.
We had
It's
no
just
way
strange.
of knowing that our abusive behaviour was abusive. And
I mean, we were screaming at them all the time.
Yeah.
That's not abuse. Technically not, but I mean, if you do it to them every day, that's pretty abusive.
Yeah. People died in the war.
Spectrum.
People didn't die in our school.
Yeah. We're about as reliable as an AK-47.
Yeah.
Previous times, the previous generation, the great generation.
But the thing is, like, I
that's what they call
know,
it.
like our parents had like corporal punishment where they were it was fine to like be hit in school, but I don't think I've ever known any of them describe it as abuse or abusive because it wasn't. They weren't being punished for being who they are. And they weren't being punished for moral reasons. They were being punished because they'd acted out normally. Whereas...
Well, I'm sure there was cases where they were unjustly punished for acting out or done like that. I reckon this wasn't part of the lexicon. Like, people didn't even consider... The assumption in the past was that they know best. You know, the adults know best.
Yeah.
And so they're probably justified in some way. And it's just by people questioning it over time, it's now been a place of like, no, why are you doing this? Like, you need to have a reason, and there's no justifiable reason. I mean, it sounds like an intense place. Just screaming in public in the square every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's long
I've got
since
maths in a
closed, I think. I think this is like a big sort of class action lawsuit from all the old pupils and stuff who are all in like their 40s and shit now.
I mean, you must have like... The parents must have gone round on an open day because they must have done this knowing that this is what they want. As in, the school teachers must be proud of that's the kind of environment that they create because they think it's the right way. It doesn't sound like it was a few bad eggs.
Yeah,
a few
it's
bad
not
eggs
like
screaming at children in the square feels like more people would know about it.
It's not like it was hidden, I guess.
No, it's just like they on a parents' day to like bring their kid. This is where we scream at them.
Yeah.
This is where, you know, we make the bikinis bend down.
Yeah, this is the bathing suit inspection room.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I mean, seems odd.
Yeah.
But,
and this is where we paddle them until they bleed. Excellent. Son, this is the place for you.
I mean... It's within our catchment area. I mean...
It costs nothing.
Have you seen the other schools?
It's just, yeah.
The other school doesn't have a screaming chamber. Yeah. Well, that's the past, isn't it? The great generation, the previous generation.
In other news, Gwyneth Paltrow shocked the world this week when she came out and admitted that amidst the darkness of lockdown, she ate bread and pasta. Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, no, Gwyneth.
How thoroughly out of touch. Like,
you think you've got it bad?
Yeah, I ate
I
carbs. She admitted to drinking as many as 2 cocktails a night during lockdown, made of quinoa-based whiskies. Oh, how relatable.
There's a whole all the stuff that's going on in America at the moment, like, is interesting. I mean, I'm talking specifically about, because of lockdown, a lot of the industries in California have kind of had to change and adapt. So little things like comedy and podcasts seem to all be going to Texas because it's got less restrictive laws and it's cheaper and it's just a better environment. Yeah, and the environment's just nicer. You know, if you were to section out certain aspects of California, there's like annoying, you know, it's all about film executives and people trying to desperately be famous for no reason and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, if you
it's desperate, it's selfish.
Yeah, and so like now that everything, all the noise of the rest of all of California's been turned down, people just look around and like, this is kind of rough. This is kind of bad. I'd rather get out of here and commute in if I need to.
Yeah.
And it's like seeing that happen and then kind of move away from it feels pretty natural. And I feel like that I can't remember how that relates to your article, but kind of...
people being out of touch with reality and not really understanding the world they live in, I guess.
Yeah. The seeing things and being like, it's not for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna migrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, Sainsbury's has found itself to be mired in controversy for hanging a photo in their bakery of a Devonshire cream tea and labelling it as a Cornish cream tea.
People are furious.
Furious.
Yeah, some influencers euthanise their dog over this.
Did you hear about this?
I didn't hear about it, but no.
A cream tea, for those who don't know, is a scone, not scone, don't at me, with jam and cream. A Cornish cream tea has the jam first and then the cream on top, but the Devonshire cream tea has the jam on top of the cream. So they got it the wrong way round and labelled it as the wrong one.
Oh dear.
Suffice to say, chaos ensued.
Suffice to say, stampedes.
Yeah, hundreds dead. Andreas Drusiadis, who runs the Mediterranean Deli in Truro, posted a picture of the advert online with the caption, "How did this happen?" England is a country with strong local traditions that shape our everyday life. Jam first is a characteristic example of this, and Sainsbury's should have known better.
At least not marketed it as some kind of lie.
Yeah.
My God, why?
Yeah.
Like, what's this?
They also pointed out that according to Cornish tradition, scones with fruit already in them only require butter, no cream or jam. Shock horror, the scones on the picture had currants in them, so they shouldn't have even had any jam or cream on them in the first place. Ridiculous.
Currants are fruit, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's like dried grapes.
Maybe.
Or summit.
Yeah, they're ex-fruit.
Yeah.
That have now become something else. Still.
Ridiculous. A fruit scone with the cream on first, advertised in a Cornish store. The cheek of it. Do you think this is acceptable, Sainsbury's? Others described the error as disgraceful and shocking.
Disgraced. I feel disgraced.
No, I do. I think it's all in jest. I think it's just one of those light-hearted things. It is just fun to be kind of like outraged by stupid shit like that. But people do get defensive about like local traditions and stuff. Like, we are a very tribal people, and it is only like the smallest thing that will trigger you and set you off. Like, I don't know. I think I'm not sure if you're the best example because you are quite displaced as a person. Like, you're not now where you've always been, if that makes sense. Like, so, like you were brought up in London. You're displaced.
Okay.
Like, you might have your traditions down there or something, but anything that you've come across in Stoke that is kind of like local to the area, you're not particularly attached to. It's just
right. Yeah,
this is just something that people do. Whereas, like, I know Stoke, for example, like people are very particular about oat cakes and where you get them from, and some of them like how they're made and what you have on them and how do you cook them. Do you roll them up? Do you fold them flat? Do you melt the cheese open and do you put two on top of each other? Like, what's the deal? And like it always happens with like food and like kind of culinary stuff. But I think London like is such a melting pot of different stuff that I don't think you get as many kind of like defined sort of traditions down there as you do elsewhere.
There is a little bit. I mean, growing up, obviously, we spoke about it last week. I don't know how much milk you put in your pot noodle. For me, it depends.
Yeah.
No, yeah, never had any of specific ways of doing things. The most classic one is obviously like when you make a cup of tea, do you put the milk in first?
No.
That's probably the closest, but apparently it's a national thing.
Yeah.
It feels weird to put milk on a tea bag, but
yeah,
how it is. There's nothing big for me like that. I don't think.
No.
Maybe, but none that I'm aware of.
Yeah. But the cream tea thing just
But
chaos.
I reckon I agree with you. There's probably like just for jest being outraged at this.
Yeah.
But if there's 10 people doing it for a laugh, I do believe there's one person who's taking it very seriously.
Incredibly so.
Yeah, even if they're not being particularly vocal about it, if you mention it, they'd get flustered. They'd be like, fuck.
They're never shopping there again.
Drawing the line.
Yeah.
Don't show me pictures of scones in the wrong geographical origin.
Yeah. If they're ever forced to drive past that store, they'll look away and just cause an accident.